Hello, everyone. It's William. Can you hear me? Let me know if you can hear me or if there's no sound coming through. There's been some issues with the mic on my phone. So I'm just going to wait a little bit until you all let me know if you can hear me or not. I may have to restart this. We're going to see what's going on. Okay, Teresa says, yes, you can hear me. Good. My phone keeps telling me there's problems with the mic and it's not being solved in any way when I try to fix it. So I think it's just a glitch that's happening. Let me take this off. I am roasting today. So hello, welcome everybody. It's William here at Allegory Gallery. My hair is wild today. We have some exciting things for you today. First off, I hope you're doing well. I hope your weekend was great. The weekends for us are a little bit strange because we don't do these lives, but we miss y'all. Like it's so weird. We don't do these lives. We miss you, but also I don't think I could handle lives 7 days a week. So I hope you're all doing okay. I hope you survived the weekend okay and did more than survive. I hope you thrived through the weekend and it was a really good time for you. Andrew and I worked both Saturday and Sunday, of course, in the store. But yesterday after work, we went to visit somebody who's new to us, but he had some stumps. Andrew's been looking for stumps for Star Cottage Studio, and that's so that he can do his metal work. And so, and when I say stumps, that's exactly just giant wooden stumps. And there's been a lot of windstorms through here lately. So he's like, maybe now would be the exact perfect time to try and get some stumps. So Andrew put a post out into the world out there on Facebook, and someone wrote back, and we went to go visit him, and we got a few stumps yesterday, and those have to dry out a little bit, I think. So we're going to try and dry those out a little bit. But this guy does furniture work, and he makes furniture. He repairs furniture. He's now starting to do some chainsaw carving into logs. And we saw one of his pieces his very first piece that he ever did, and it was pretty amazing. So that was a really fun time. It's always nice to connect with other artists in the area. This guy doesn't live very far away from us, so it's a really cool thing. Let's see here. People are saying they can hear me. Marianne wasn't able to hear, and now they can hear. So yeah, we did that yesterday, and then after that we went to Keystone Lake, and this is a place I had never been, and I don't know why. It's so close to us. It's a beautiful lake, and you may have seen on Andrew's what are they called? Stories. On Andrew's stories, you may have seen that we were there, and that's where it was. So we took a walk around the lake. I'm trying to get 30 minutes of exercise in 5 out of the 7 days a week at least. So we walked around the lake, which was about a 2-mile walk. And that was nice to get out and do that. It took us probably a little around an hour to do, because we took our time. We took some pictures of things as we went. We weren't power walking by any means. So we had a nice time doing that. After that, we went over to Barnes & Noble for really like 10 minutes. Andrew really wanted some coffee, and we decided to go to the bookstore, but by the time we got there, from all that we had been doing, they were closing in like 20 minutes. So we got our coffee. And of course, right after we ordered coffee, someone else ordered some food, and they had shut the ovens off for the night because they were closing up. And the person did not want the food not heated. They insisted that it be heated. So they had to refund that. And this poor person working the register was pretty new, had never done a refund before, didn't know how to do it. So we got there about 20 to 25 minutes early before closing. And by the time we actually got our drink, because they had to go help these other people, we had about 10 minutes in the bookstore. So we looked around very quickly, really didn't get anything other than the coffee. which is okay because I got a lot of books that I haven't read yet. And then we went to grocery shopping, picked up some dinner because neither one of us felt like cooking. We were kind of having the day off, and then went home. And so that was a pretty nice weekend. So that was good. Really kind of decompressed a little bit, which was kind of very important. You know, I work 7 days a week, and that's going to my job 7 days a week, and then working in the evenings for a lot of that as well. So it's good to have a little bit of a break, So let's see. I'm gonna name off some people who are here with us. I may not catch you all because I don't know if I'm seeing all the comments, but I see Suzanne is here with us. Hello, AG Bead fam, Marianne, Teresa, Norma is with us. Other Teresa has joined in as well. Hello, Amanda. Thank you for joining in. June is with us. Harry is here. Michelle is here. Michelle, I'm very sorry to hear about your friend. I saw your email, and that's a very, very difficult thing. It's always hard when we lose someone, right? So our thoughts are with you, and you know, I'd say if there's anything we can do, there's not much we can do, but just know our thoughts are with you, and you know, all this creative, you know, community energy is behind you, and hopefully will give you some comfort. Cindy is with us. Hello, Cindy. Let's see. Okay. Barbara says, my boyfriend is a chainsaw carver. Nice. That's pretty cool. I don't know how people do that. I have no clue. I have no clue how that's even a thing, but some people are exceptionally talented at it, and that's pretty awesome. Hello, Susan. Thank you for tuning in. So, what'd y'all do? Marion says, I saw Andrew's stories. Made me wish my neighborhood lake wasn't frozen still. Yeah. I went down to the lake's edge, and I felt the water, and I was surprised that it was not as cold as I thought it was going to be. This is a lake that it has a, you know, of course it has a drainage place that if the lake rises too high, it drains off. And so this is a constantly moving body of water, kind of, especially right now because it's very wet. And I was surprised how actually not as frigid as I thought the water was going to be. I was like, oh, you know, I sometimes do cold showers because they're supposed to be good for you and just for your mental everything at physical and all that. So I'm like, if I could maybe plunge into this, maybe. I did not do that though. I did not do that. Let's see. What else did you all do over the weekend? Did anyone say what they did over the weekend? See? Let me know what you did over the weekend, y'all. Did you have anything going on? Yeah, I was just scrolling through, making sure I didn't miss any comments. I don't think I missed any. So let me know what you've been doing over the weekend, because I don't want this just to be about me. That's not what this is ever about. Never about just us. We like to hear what you're doing and what's going on. Susan says it's sunny here and about 77. That's great. Marianne worked yesterday. Me too, Marianne. Me too. But I did get I got a little bit of extra. Right now it is 63. It was 64 as a high, is what my watch says. And it is beautifully sunny out today here too. Andrew is not here right now. Andrew is taking a class at the Center for Metal Arts in Johnstown, Pennsylvania. So he's taking a blacksmithing class this week. I believe it's all week long, and it's like a 9 to 5 every day. So he has to leave the house early because it takes some time to drive there, then time to drive home. So he may pop in, depending on if he comes this way or the other way, back from Johnstown. He may stop by on his way, or he may rush home. Who knows? Who knows? Depends probably how tired he is from banging hammers and blacksmithing all day today. So I'll be excited to see what he is learning and what he's doing there. So he will not be with us today. I am not sure if he is going to be able to do a tutorial tomorrow, or if he's going to be maybe doing it later than normal, maybe not at all. So if you do not see a tutorial or a live from us tomorrow, It's because I'm at my other job and Andrew is doing his class this week. So he may not be joining us much of this week at all. So it's just going to be you and me out here today and most of this week. So thank you for joining us. If you don't mind, please hit that share button, share with your friends, share with your family, let them know that we as a bead store and a place to get jewelry components exists in this big world. And please hit the thumbs up. And if you don't mind, if you like what we do, please follow our page on Facebook. That's Allegory Gallery on Facebook. And please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Allegory Gallery on YouTube. Let's see here. What else is everybody doing? Amanda says, I stayed home all weekend and made jewelry. That's perfect. I like that. I like that talk. That's some good progress. That's some good progress. Let's see what else. Susan says, got together for lunch Saturday with my old lady friends from my old work. That's always fun. You know, most of my friends from my jobs aren't around. Like anybody that was around here when I had jobs before I moved to New York, not a lot of them are around anymore. And the job that I did work at, I still work at it. That's where I work at now. But so many people have moved on. So seeing people from that job that I knew mostly when I was there, there are still a few, but not nearly as many as there used to be. And of course, most of my work, other than the store, was in New York. So I don't get to see mine much other than online. So I think that's very nice. I think it's nice you get to do that. I do wish I could see my New York friends more often, but many of them have spread all over the world now. So even going to New York would not be necessarily a way to see most of them anymore. But I'm glad you got to hang out and go to lunch. Lunches are always fun, I think. Let's see here. Suzanne says, Holy Week started yesterday. Hectic for the hubs and I don't know much about all that. It's not in my wheelhouse really, but hopefully it's not too crazy for you. Teresa started working in the garden. That's awesome. I don't know if I guess probably now it would be safe to start working in our garden. Maybe there could still be a few frosts and things that come through. So maybe just readying the soil and whatnot. I know some of our more plant enabled friends. Or plant adept friends, maybe. Andrew's pretty good with it, but they are, I think, starting to turn soil and work in whatever they need to work into the soil to get ready for the year too. So that's nice. I think it's good to get out in the garden once in a while. I don't do it enough. My brain doesn't allow me to do things like that sometimes as easily as I wish they would, because I know they're good for you. It's good to be in nature. Harry says, I worked on cutting some labradorite and agates, cast a few clay figures, and shipped out lots of orders. That's awesome. Love to see orders going out for you. For any of you out there, really, who are making things, we love to hear that. That's a good thing. And it's always good to see small businesses hopefully staying busy, right? It's hard. It's hard out there, y'all. So good on all of you who are making things, who are selling things, who are arranging. I know a lot of people are arranging shows right now. So good on you all for getting up and going and getting things done. Let's see here. Norma says, I went to see the 50th anniversary tour of the Jesus Christ Superstar on Saturday. I really enjoyed it. Missed seeing it the first time around. I think I saw pictures from that. I remember liking those pictures. So that's great. I'm glad you got to do that. I have never seen it on tour. It's one of those that I haven't seen a lot. I used to really like musicals when I was in high school. And I saw a number of them. My high school, I don't know if it was part of my modern language club. I don't know why that would be, but I feel like it was a small group of people. We got together and we went to Toronto to the Pantages Theater for Phantom of the Opera. So I saw that when I was in high school. We also took a few other ones. I saw Damn Yankees in Pittsburgh, and I think my grandmother actually went with us too to Damn Yankees. So that was nice. and Les Miserables. I saw that a few times, but I really did not get a chance to see a lot of them. You know, I didn't grow up with a lot of money, so going to do things like that was not always possible. But my family did try hard. Like my whole family would pitch in to help and get me to go places, like when we went to Toronto and whatnot. So I used to really like them. I don't know why I got out of it a little bit. I used to like opera a lot. I used to go. I had a subscription to the opera when I was in New York City, to the Met, and I would go see a number of operas every summer. But that's harder here. In New York City, it takes a little bit of a train ride to get to the Met. Here, it's at least an hour to get to Pittsburgh, and then you have all that traffic. There's Andrew. He is here.
Why, hello everyone.
Why, hello, Andrew. How was your day?
I was good, but I'm tired.
I wasn't sure if I told them I wasn't sure if you were stopping interview and head right home. Let's see. Susan's busy doing house things like dusting and laundry. 5 or 6 loads of laundry. Sort of lost track of how many. Yeah, I hear that. Sometimes that happens, right? Sometimes you just have to do the laundry, especially seasonal changes, right? Like you're trying to wash everything to put away. So you get everything washed and cleaned, your winter clothes, and start bringing out your summer clothes or your spring clothes. It can get crazy. And sometimes it's just daily life, right? So you have loads of laundry to do. It happens.
Seems like we wash the clothes after we take it out of storage too.
Yeah, wash them to put it in, wash them to take it out.
That freshens it up.
Yep.
How's everybody doing today?
We're all chatting, seeing what everybody did all the weekend. Amanda says, I have 1 snowdrop peeking out. That's nice. My friends up in New York, upstate New York, just started seeing some snowdrops too. So I think it's starting to head that way. The warm is heading that way. We our snowdrops are gone.
They're done.
They are done. But
they just finished.
Yeah, they just finished. They were hanging out until mid last week or so, and then they all fell off. I think some of the windstorms too. I was seeing petals on the road from some of the windstorms. I'm like, what in the world would even be blooming right now? And I think they were all snowdrop petals.
What?
Yeah, because that's about the only thing that was white that was blooming at this time.
Bradford pear, maybe.
I don't think they bloomed yet.
Some of them.
Did they? I didn't notice
pears.
them. But yeah, so yeah, I think warm weather is moving around now. Harry says, I am getting 96 pots seeded with ground cover. Holy moly.
Do what?
96 pots seeded with ground cover. Marianne says, our gardening season is usually end of May to Labor Day. Teresa says, I started turning the soil and planted my vegetable garden seeds in pots in the greenhouse. Nice. It's nice to have a greenhouse. We want a greenhouse here. I don't know when we'll have time to do anything in the greenhouse.
No, we'll have to hire somebody to take care of it.
But it would be nice to have a greenhouse.
Just sitting there and be warm.
Susan says, my hubs is out working in the backyard as I write this. Our grass, I was thinking I need to mow the grass soon. Our grass is getting high already.
Here?
At the house. At the house. Some parts. Where we used to have the garden. The grass is going.
Green.
It's very green and it's very lush right there. The rest of our yard is like brown. But some of the
we amended the soil.
Yeah, we added a lot of good stuff to the soil where the garden was. And we also have chives that pop up all over the yard, which I like. When you mow, it smells like onions. Or
you should chop them and dry them out.
I know, we should actually use them. We don't use them as much as we could. My mom always had chives growing in a container when I was growing up outside, and they'd winter over and they just come back on their own, and we had always cut fresh chives for dinner.
Make baked potatoes.
Yeah, chive baked potatoes and butter. Amanda says, we were in Toronto at the same time. Nice. Barbara says, I saw Phantom of the Opera in high school in Toronto too. Must have been a thing, right? At least a Pennsylvania thing. Yeah, I don't remember how or why. Like I said, it was the people I remember going with me were a lot of people from our modern language club. So I don't know if that was something about it, but I don't know, but it was fun. I liked it a lot. Susan says, I saw Damned Yankees when I was in high school a few centuries ago. The devil is portrayed by Vince Price. Vincent Price. I don't know who that is.
Yeah, you do.
Do I? I probably do.
He has a mustache.
I think. Oh, okay. I'm trying to think who is it. The Damn Yankees I saw was. Oh, I can't think of his name now. Can't think of it.
Y'all want to see my T-shirt?
Yeah, we do. Yeah, we do. Society of Inclusive Blacksmiths 2023.
You can get your, I was going to say your copy, but
Your own.
Your very own, and help support a great cause.
Where can they get that?
Society of Inclusive Blacksmiths something.
.org, .com, .net, something like that.
Yeah, they are the ones who helped offset the cost of this workshop.
Nice. Jerry Lewis, I think, was in Damned Yankees when I saw it. I think that's who it was in Pittsburgh. So go get your shirt, everybody. Support them.
Tell them we sent you.
Tell them we sent you. Help support these great programmings. Harry says, I saw Phantom on stage. Loved it. Yeah, it's a great show. It's a great show, and you can see it live.
They have stickers, too.
Stickers for the inclusive goldsmiths.
Blacksmiths,
not goldsmith. Blacksmiths.
I'm thinking of snag now.
I am. I'm mixing organizations.
Mixing metaphors.
Hello, Donna says, hello, all beautiful evening. It is a beautiful evening. I went out. I took some pictures of the daffodils, which really I didn't go out and do it. I did it when I opened the car door to walk into the cottage. I took a few pictures on my way in.
Some of the different ones are starting to bloom.
I know. There's two-tone ones out there right now. Bonnie says, looks like you guys had a nice weekend. Yeah, we did have a pretty good weekend. Amanda says, I was in university in Toronto during the Phantom Run. Nice. Nice. I also went to Toronto while I was in college with some friends. We went to Toronto for a weekend, I think. And that was when Bush, but I think that was young Bush, was just in office. And all through Toronto, there were parades that they didn't like him so much.
It's called a protest, not a
Yes, it was a protest, I guess, but it was protest from another country.
march.
Which a march is probably the better word.
And then a parade. Parade is like
parade is a fun thing. So it was a march about Bush being the president of the U.S., which I thought was interesting. That another, like, I can't even imagine this country, anywhere in this country, having a march against a president in another country. Like, I just can't see it, which I thought was kind of cool that they would get up and do that.
Yeah, because so much of U.S. politics affect.
I know, but if Canada got a different president, would you think anyone in the streets in the U.S. would say anything?
Prime Minister.
Prime Minister. I don't think so. It just doesn't. But I like to see it. I liked it up there. Marianne says, I did see the Phantom of the Opera. Nice. Amanda says, we had a loud storm Friday night. Some places got flooded, others 14 inches of snow. Here we only had thunder and lightning and lots of rain and wind. We had some wild wind storms when we were heading to Pittsburgh. That's another thing we did. We went to Pittsburgh and to Contemporary Craft for their Out of Hand exhibit and party, gala. And we had a great time. It was really fun. We helped do some projects with people, and everyone seemed super excited about it, which was always good. You know, you hate when you go and do something, you don't want anyone to be like, ugh.
Plus, I tell them that's the favorite.
Yeah. Andrew always says, make sure when you fill out your questionnaire or your survey at the end, tell them that Allegory Gallery Crew is your favorite.
And they said, what survey? I said, they don't actually have a survey.
He's like, they don't actually do that. But you can still tell people you had the most fun with us. Let's see here.
And be like, if you don't, we're not going to get asked back.
Right. Marianne says, also got to see the Mousetrap in London, UK. I have never been to London. I've never been to the UK, actually. So that's cool. That's cool. Donna says she stopped ride to Johnstown, saw you guys at the shop before you headed to Pittsburgh. Yep. We like it. We like it when you stop in. Yeah, Friday night was really wild here with wind, but no rain here, hail, and tornadoes north of us, says Harry. Yeah, we had crazy. Friday was windy, very windy. Not much else here, but lots and lots of wind. And we were a little bit afraid to leave and go to Pittsburgh, but we had to do it. And everything was fine. Everything was fine.
On the way there, all the traffic.
Well, that's true. I mean, everything was fine here. Like, I mean, here with our stuff. But when we went, yeah, almost all the traffic lights had no power. And amazingly, I don't know how, but amazingly, people did a 4-way stop and did it right. They let traffic go. No one tried to like run through the intersection. They all stopped and took turns.
Of course, it just happened.
Yes,
So...
that's true. We had approached it the lights were on and the lights went off. But they did. They were going this way, and then some people stopped and let the other people go. It was pretty nice. It was like people working together. That was good.
We can vouch for that. Those people.
We can vouch for those people.
But then after that, who knows?
Susan says, "How can you not know who Vincent Price is?" Marianne says, "You'd know Vincent if you saw him. Probably would." I don't know names, everybody. Actors, actresses, barely know them.
He doesn't know the ones he just watched.
It's true. I do not. I don't know a modern actor or actress probably to save my life.
Even the old ones.
I have helped them in the Apple store and didn't know who they were. So, yeah, I don't know people. Vincent did the rap in Michael Jackson's Thriller song, says Kara. I don't know that rap either. Sorry. I don't know a lot of Michael Jackson stuff. I know the Thriller song, but just barely. Vanessa says, I don't know what Damn Yankees is, but I know who Vincent Price is. Yeah, Damn Yankees musical. Marianne says, grandfather was a blacksmith. Nice. Donna says, I saw the road is closing past the cottage. I don't know what's going. Did you see anything today?
It's on the 17th.
Up further or down here? We haven't been told what it is. Sometime on the 17th, the road here, this road that we're on, at some point in this road, it'll be closing. We don't know if it's to fix the road, because the road has been deteriorating for about 2 years now. And they haven't fixed it. They just put a wall around it. So we have to stop at a stop sign that's in the middle of the road and take turns, which is kind of nice because it slows the traffic down here somewhat. Some people have now, people go flying because there's a hill that comes off this road up above, and they just come off that hill and just keep flying by.
It's easy though. But somebody was riding my tail, and I was like, I gotta stop.
But we don't know if they're fixing that. Even though now people go flying through the stop signs, they don't even stop. But
like, it's a stop sign.
Yeah, you should stop. That's what it's for.
Even
Legally,
a rolling stop is better than.
Yeah, at least roll to a stop and slow down, right? And I mean, I know the if there's no one coming, I know the desire to go through, but it's a stop sign, everybody.
Where if somebody pops out?
Yeah, or a deer pops out because there's a little stream there.
There was a deer on the road today. I was just wandering around. I had to roll down my window and yell at it.
Sometimes we do that.
Go
yell at the deer.
Get off the road.
Pick your side. Pick your side of the road now. Or they may be hooking up electricity and things. We have a new Dollar General going in on this road further down. So we don't know if they're closing the road to do utility work there, or if they're going to fix this road here, or if it's something completely else. We just know that on the 17th it's going to happen. So hopefully they give us some information. There's going to be a detour. Hopefully we can detour to Star Cottage Studio here, or else we're going to be
live from home.
I know, live from home, live from the store for a few days if we can't make it up here. Bonnie says, still snow on the ground and more to come again. I'm going to Dairy Queen for ice cream for dinner. Dairy Queen in the winter, really? I don't know if Dairy Queen still has good burgers. When I was growing up, you didn't think of Dairy Queen so much for their burgers, but they had some of the best burgers, cheeseburgers. When I ate meat, they were actually really good. And my aunt, kind of my first job was mowing grass for my aunt, and she had about 3 acres of land, and we'd mow the grass, and we'd take about all day to mow the grass, and then she would take me to Dairy Queen, and we would have dinner and ice cream. So I like Dairy Queen. I know. Marianne says if we got a president, we would all protest, right? I know the words. I just don't always use them, right? Amanda says, lots of people I know follow U.S. politics, and some get quite riled up from time to time. I think that's good, right? You should be in touch with your neighbors. I just think here that we don't, I don't know. I don't want to say that we're a little more self-centered, or I don't know, but maybe we are. I don't know. We have that reputation in the world. I will say that. When I was abroad, people definitely had opinions about people from the U.S. Harry says, I took a few good shots of the moon over the weekend when the skies were clear. I think I saw those. I saw some recent shots of the moon here today. I tried to check up on some of your Facebook pages here today when I had a little bit of time in between things, which was not a lot of time because I was pretty busy today. But I did see those. They look good. Oh, let's see here. Diane says, hi, received my kit of black and white beads from you. It's a gorgeous combination. Beautiful beads. Thank you. Thank you for your support. I'm glad you enjoy them. And hopefully when you do something with them, you can post in our Allegory Gallery Design Challenges group on Facebook. If you're not already a member of the group, find it and join Allegory Gallery Design Challenges.
Which one is it?
Diane Campbell. Let's see here. Diane says, it's hard to get a good juicy cheeseburger anymore. I wouldn't know, but I can assume. I was just talking with Barb a little bit today, and we were talking about Barb went to Wendy's for the first time. And she said it was definitely not what she remembered. And because I remember them used to having really good, the flame broiled burgers and all that. She said it was definitely not the same. And I think that's the case for a lot of places.
They had so much grease in the burgers, the wrappers. We used to throw them in the fire, and when we'd have a bonfire, they'd like, whoosh.
Oh, really? I don't remember that here, but we also, I used to get the what is it, the Wendy's Junior or something like that.
I don't know, it's been so long.
I know, I'd get like one of the, they were little burgers, smaller, and then we'd get, they used to have on their menu chili, chips, and cheese, or else if they didn't have it, you could request it. And it was their chili, and then give you a little side of chips and some cheese, and you could put it together and eat them together. It was really good. That's what we did.
Their chili being good.
Yeah, their chili. We'd add cheese to it, and then you'd dunk the chips and eat it like a salsa almost. I still do that to this day. Amanda says there's lots to get riled up about. There is. There is all over the world, right? But there's lots to be happy about too. Let's see here. Bonnie says we have a lot of great burger restaurants here in Minnesota. That's good. That's good. I would say it's hard to find here, but I have not been eating meat for a long time, so I don't know what's around. The restaurant across the street from us at the store, they have, I think, bison burgers, and I've heard they're really good. And I think there's a bison farm very close to us, actually, or relatively close. You wouldn't think about it, bison being here, but they are. Amanda says, I've been waiting patiently for nice weather. I want a barbecue hamburger so bad. Sounds good. I love barbecue. Oh. Ba-ba-ba. Marianne says, Europe, however, as a Canadian, we're treated differently than our fellow tour mates. Differently how? Differently good? Differently bad? Most people assumed when I was in France, very quickly assumed that I was English. And I don't know why. I don't know if that had to do with how my French accent was when I spoke. I don't know if that's because I'm just very pale. I don't know if it's because I obviously spoke English because of my French accent, or my English French accent, and they were just assuming. Or maybe it was because I wasn't acting like a stereotypical American. I don't know. But they thought I was English. And they were very nice to me, actually. If I tried to speak French, at least tried, super nice. Super nice. So the stereotype that the French are mean, I did not see that. I did not see that. All right, let's see here. Julie says, do you guys miss meat? Do you do fish or shellfish? I do sometimes miss meat because sometimes around here especially there aren't some substitutions for certain things like fried chicken. Andrew and I always talk about fried chicken. It's one of those things. And the ease of getting things, like picking a fast food restaurant, super easy if you eat meat. You can eat anywhere, doesn't matter. For us, very limited. So I miss that in that kind of a way. And we do not eat fish and we do not eat shellfish. We eat eggs and we eat cheese and dairy. But we do not eat fish even. Harry says, I make the best burgers. Blend 1/2 pound of bacon into a paste. Then mix in a pound of ground steak and make big burgers. That sounds good. That sounds good.
How does the bacon get cooked in the middle then?
I guess if you mix it into a paste, it's going to cook pretty well.
So it's like eating raw bacon.
You mix it in. If you just mix the whole thing in, it's not necessarily just sitting in a chunk in the middle. Andrew's dubious, I think. I don't know. I don't know. Marianne says, Harry, you can make me those. Right? Let's see here. Donna says, you guys make the day relaxing for me, like meeting up with lots of friends to BS. That's what it's about, right? Hanging out, BSing together. If you're here just to see what we've got.
You call it community building.
That's right. It's community building.
That sounds bougie.
It's the talk time.
That means you can write a grant for it. Community building.
Right, community building. Susan says, I'm veggie and I don't miss meat whatsoever. I do. I have to say, I do. I miss some things. Not enough to necessarily just, go back to them, but I do wish there was a good substitute for fried chicken, though. I will say that.
Those one burgers are not too bad.
There's lots of burgers out there that are pretty good.
Patty.
Oh, the chicken patty one. That kind of chicken you can get.
Oh, that's pretty good.
It's the, put it in the deep fryer, fry the skin really good kind of fried chicken that I miss. But you're not going to get that unless you're, in California or...
they had this mushroom one, and it was kind of like fried chicken. It had that kind of texture of it. Of course, it didn't taste. Yeah. But it had that similar.
It's that coating and that juiciness that I miss.
The breading was pretty on point.
Yeah. If you could put mushrooms or fake meat in the perfect fried chicken breading, and I think that's hard because it uses the chicken skin mostly to do that. But if you could do that, then I'd probably be satisfied. That'd probably be fine. Pam is with us from Florida. Hello. Thank you for joining us.
What part of Florida?
Did we ask you, Pam, what part of Florida you're from? Was that Miami?
Oh.
Was it Pamela Jones? Pam Jones? I might be wrong. That might have been another Florida.
It all
Floridian. Sometimes it does. Marion says, definitely good. So you had a good experience. Our Cajun tour mates were asked not to speak French. Oh boy. They didn't like that kind of Cajun French, huh? That's interesting. That's interesting. Yeah, I had a good experience. Teresa says, being vegetarian, I make really good black bean burgers. Black bean burgers are good too.
I'm hungry for
food. Vanessa says, a good grilled portobello mushroom helps with that. I was a vegetarian for 15 plus years. I do eat a little fish here now and then.
That one's good too.
Yeah, grilled portobello. That could be good. That could be good.
My friends, they call it toadstool burger.
Toadstool.
We had a barbecue, and I made these portobello. You marinate them, and then you grill them. And she was like, them toadstool burgers are pretty good.
That's funny. Amanda says, the only time I experienced rudeness as a tourist was in Montreal. I guess my terrible French was annoying. Yeah, maybe. When I was in Toronto, I tried to speak a little French, and the woman cut me off and said, your French isn't right. That's what she told me. And so I was like, oh, okay, then I'm not even going to try. And this was in a shop. Like, everyone in Paris, when I went to the shops, flipped to English for me and complimented me trying French. Not in Toronto. They cut me off, said, your French is wrong. and I don't think I bought anything from her shop either.
We had a French customer who used to come in the restaurant, and I tried to make her feel more at home because I took French in high school, which is all gone now. But I tried to be nice and say a few things, and she was like, that's okay.
That's okay. You don't need to try so hard. Amy says, there's a place near me that makes fried chicken sandwich with meat alternative Tyndall, not to be confused with the relations site. Tinder. She put Tyndall. Tinder. Yeah, I've never heard of that one actually. I'll have to take a look at that.
Which Amy?
Amy Lowe.
Oh.
Our friend Amy Lowe.
She know all the good food. I was talking with her friend about it, about how whenever we're going to go to Philadelphia again, we're just going to pull up Amy Lowe's
list of suggestions. See where she's checked in.
Look at all the lists.
Susan says, even when I was a carnivore, I was fussy about my food. I have a number of food aversions. Always had to look at the menus beforehand. Yeah, we do a lot of menu searching beforehand now as vegetarians, definitely. Never had to do that as much. We still did it a good bit before anyway, but never.
Well, I don't like to get surprised.
Yeah, but it was never mandatory before. Now we got to be like, can we go here and eat something more than a salad? That's it.
Side salad.
Right, yeah.
I was just talking about this today because during the workshop, there's people from all over, and they're like, where are you on for lunch? I'm like, Sheet. And they're like, isn't that a gas station?
Yes,
and I was like, yes, but I at least know that they have something I can eat.
Right.
Because sometimes I've been to places and you get the lettuce that somebody picked off a burger, basically. It's all wilted and everything. And some house dressing or whatever.
House dressing.
And one piece of tomato. And then they're like, $17, please. I'm like, somebody's confused.
Harry says, portobello on the grill is wonderful. We should get our grill up and running someday.
One day.
I
pretty much grilled all day. Should bring food. Put it on top of that charcoal.
Bonnie says, I made a yummy zucchini, carrot, red onion with egg and flour and cooked it in the pan with avocado oil. Zucchini, carrot, red onion with egg and flour. And cooked it. I don't know what that would be like. Was it like a
frittata?
Like a frittata?
Or like a cake?
Yeah, what was that? Amanda says, barbecue steak and mushrooms sound good. Yeah, it does. Yeah, it does. Donna says, toast your chips. Susan says, love portobellos. Pineapple is awesome too. Oh, I do love a pineapple. It's one of my favorite things.
You don't really grow them though.
Huh?
I don't really grow pineapple that much.
No, we don't grow pineapple. That's a hard thing to grow here.
No grill.
Oh, grilled pineapple. They said grow. I was like, no, we don't grow pineapple. No, we haven't grilled it very much.
No.
Amanda says, I like making zucchini, green peppers, onions, and garlic and coconut oil on the barbecue. Nice. Julie says, do you have a Trader Joe's? Good alternatives. We do not, except for in Pittsburgh, I think is our closest Trader Joe's. So that's an hour and 10 minutes away or so.
You might want that.
So Pam was from Miami, but now in Fort Lauderdale.
So that 5 miles.
Jermaine says, do you feel healthier since giving up meat? I feel cleaner inside. I think things pass through better. But healthier, I don't know, not necessarily. I do take some supplements to try to keep iron up and things like that too, which I probably should take more of them, but we do try to eat a lot of leafy greens and all that stuff too.
But he's nice. He don't like to kill the animal.
Yeah, mine is not about health. It was all about I don't like the fact that we should have to kill animals to eat. That's a personal thing. And it was like, I like to poop good. Yeah, for him, it was to help keep him going.
And then also, I like to make one meal, not this short order cook business where you're making this for this person, this for this person. So if William was vegetarian and I ate meat, it would be impossible because I'm not gonna do it.
Yeah. So we just
went. Some people come over. I made like 6 different dishes for all the people for the dietary restrictions.
He's like, nah.
And I got wore out.
He's like, never doing that again. No. So for him, it's about being healthier a little bit and to just join on my bandwagon.
But also, I eat chips. So.
He does eat a lot of chips. We both eat a lot of chips. Yeah, we're not necessarily doing it for health. I'm doing it because I don't like the idea of having to take a life to eat. That's fine if you're in a place where you need to. If you want to, it's your life. But for me, I didn't want to do that anymore.
Yeah, he escorts the bugs outside.
I do. I help the bugs outside of the house.
I squash it.
Andrew's like,
goodbye.
I'm like, I could have taken it outside.
Oh well, it's done now.
I do let the cats eat bugs if they're attacking them usually, because that's life. That's
not a bug like a hornet or something.
Yeah, that's life. That's natural life. But for me, I feel like as a evolved person, I don't need to have meat. We've got to a point in civilization where we can live without it. So for me, what?
That sounds terrible saying that evolved.
No, I mean as evolution, we've evolved to the point where we've got enough food, we've got enough crops, we've got enough ways to get those crops to you. That's what I mean. No, you want to eat meat, eat meat. There's no saying I'm not going to go back to it someday. I'm not voiding that out completely.
You just cry quietly.
Cry quietly as I eat my animals.
It's so delicious, but so sad.
Right. Cecilia's been vegetarian for 60 years. Nice.
How many years?
60. 60 years.
Wow.
That's good. My one cousin, I never understood it. She's been vegetarian pretty much since she could eat. And she chose to do that. Her family is not. She's the only one in her family that really chose to do it. And she just never really liked meat. So... Yep.
I thought when people were vegetarian like on some days.
No, my dad and his brothers and sisters grew up vegetarian for a short amount of time. They were vegetarian. And my grandmother did often make vegetarian things, like vegetarian meatballs and things like that. But
were they that 7-day Adventist?
They're 7-day Adventists, but that's not vegetarian. They don't eat 7-day Adventists. They would not eat pork. Because of the cloven hoof thing in the Old Testament, and they would not eat catfish or shrimp because they're bottom feeders or purifiers.
They basically kosher them.
So yeah, except they didn't have to be all the careful with the cutting and the blood and all that. But they did follow the Old Testament thing. So on that side of my family, I grew up that way. And on the other side of the family, they were hunters and they ate anything. Let's see here. Amanda says, "Oh, Pamela, is spring break wild right now?" I wasn't even thinking about it being spring break. Pamela says, "Yes, it is." Grilled portobellos are good, says Marianne.
It's not spring break here, y'all. I got behind the bus. Unless the bus was just like hanging out and stopping every couple of miles for fun.
Teresa says, "I make stuffed portobello with spinach, tomatoes, and fontina cheese." Y'all are making me hungry.
I know, my stomach's gonna be like, go wow.
Amanda says, "Montrealers know who is a native speaker and who isn't, and they will answer you in English even if you are speaking French." How rude. I got answered in English a lot in Paris, but when I was in the south of France, there were a lot of towns we were in that nobody spoke English much. It was still like very much just French. And so I got to practice a lot when I was there. And then when I moved north for this few weeks, if they spoke English, they usually flipped to English for me. But this was also generally in big fashion houses. So I was going to Christian Lacroix, and I went to Dior. And
talking in English?
Huh? That's where they flip to English right away. They're like, if you want to spend money, I will help you do that. Let me speak English to you.
I thought it was going to be like that movie.
It was not like that movie. It was very much like, how can we help you? Come in. Take a look around. It doesn't hurt when you're carrying Christian Lacroix bags around. Or when you did back then. Let's see here. Oops, we skipped. I do have to jump ahead a little bit. We got to get going here a little bit. Bonnie says, "Oh, her meal is shredded like a potato pancake." That's good. That sounds really good. Vanessa says, "Yes, definitely watch your iron and protein intake." Yeah, we do. Susan says, "I'm with you on that, William." Vanessa says, "There are good plant proteins now." Susan says, "Teresa, your portobello dish sounds awesome." It does. It really does.
You know how the Navy base or Army or Air Force, they would have a cookbook, and all the officers' wives would make a cookbook?
Yeah.
We should have an allegory gallery cookbook.
We should. Everyone in the community here, we just submit a recipe, and we'll have an allegory gallery cookbook. That'd be kind of fun.
Unless you're not a good cook, then don't.
Then keep it to yourself.
Sometimes I found some of those recipes. I was like, did anybody try this?
I think that's a kind of cool idea. Maybe we'll do that.
I was like, did anybody try this Jello?
Did you try it before you wrote it down?
Oh my goodness. They had some lime Jello and steak concoction. I was like, somebody
that used to be a thing.
Got high and decided.
What was that, the 50s? They used to do a lot of that?
I don't know, but my mom
Pâtés and Jello?
My mom made it and force-fed us. All the kids screamed in horror.
Susan says, "I have trouble even killing bugs." Me too. Me too. They've got little lives too. And my take on it is, yeah, we say that they're like below us or they don't know as much, but how do we know they aren't just out there? Like, we say they're here just to reproduce and keep the species going. How do we know they're not? Huh?
Just like people.
Right? But how do we know they're not like out there enjoying their day? Like deer running around, they play. They're enjoying we don't know. Bugs, they could be enjoying their day. We don't know. So I try to not do that. Susan says, "When we found out there was a mouse inside our house a few years ago, we got out the humane trap." Yes, that's good. I like that. Vanessa says, "I'm not really a meat eater, but I do dabble in fish. Pescatarian, I guess." Yeah.
Sometimes I think about switching to eat the fish just so we can go to sushi.
Yeah. I do kind of miss that, but it's hard for me because fish got their own little lives too.
But they have this vegetarian sushi, and it was
terrible. Pretty good. They had a good selection of it too, surpringly.
Yeah.
We should go back there. Julie says, "My dad's fam were Seventh-day Adventists." Yeah, my dad's family, my grandfather on that side was very religious. He was actually, from what I understood, he was actually thrown out of his church because he scared people with his brimstone, the fire and brimstone kind of.
Religious?
He was super religious.
He like the pilgrims?
He was very fire and brimstone. And I mean, he was fun a lot of times, but there could be times that it was a little bit much.
Is that
So
that didn't have an eyeball?
yes.
You pop it out.
Yeah,
for
he had a limp too from polio, I believe. I don't know if it was polio or if it was I think also a what do you call it? A bulldozer with the buckets. I don't know if that's a bulldozer or what they call those. But it came down on his foot too. So anyway,
between the two,
he had a lot not to be necessarily happy about, but he was not always a happy person, and they did not have a good. My dad and his brother, it was not a great family growing up story, but so they didn't necessarily stick to everything. It was kind of I think a different version maybe of Seventh-day Adventist because of things that were in his head and how you had to do things. He was very strict. Sabbath was Friday night to Saturday night, and you did nothing during Sabbath. You could eat, you could sleep, and sometimes it was okay to watch nature channels on TV, but it had to be about nature. That was it. You couldn't go outside as kids and play. We couldn't watch any other TV at all. You couldn't even get too rowdy in the house or rambunctious or anything like that. So it was a very strict kind of way of being. And so some of the Seventh-day Adventist things that I learned about may not necessarily be what everyone else did too. So yeah. Harry says, my daughter went vegetarian for a few years and I learned to cook lots of tasty veggies. I enjoy lots of that. Grilled veg on couscous is our favorite. That's a good thing. I grew up, my grandmother, both grandmothers actually, but especially on my mom's side, always had a really big garden, and I would help her plant the plants and take care of them over summer and stuff, over summer break. And I grew up eating vegetables that I saw being made or being created or being grown. And so I always liked vegetables. I had a really good relationship with vegetables. So I was never a picky kid like that. Neither was my brother because of it, I think, too. But I know some kids are and some people grow up that way, but we always had them. Susan says, La Croix, sweetie, La Croix. I know, right? Somebody said that at Contemporary Craft. They knew. So a lot of times I wear a La Croix brooch of some sort. And a lot of times I'll say it's Christian La Croix, and people don't have a clue. But every once in a while, there's somebody who knows, and we have a good time then. Teresa says, that would be so fun to have a cookbook. I know, right?
We talk about food enough.
We do talk about food enough. Marianne says, Jell-O is okay, only as Jell-O with whipped cream. Jell-O I have a texture issue with. The only time I could do Jell-O was Jell-O shots when I was already a little bit tipsy. Donna said, I made pickled pig's feet for Easter. I have never had that. I've never had that. Even when I was eating meat, I've never had pig's feet.
Isn't that like the opposite of Easter?
I don't know why.
Because aren't you supposed to not eat the pigs?
I don't know. Is that a thing for Easter that people do? I didn't grow up very religious, so.
I guess people have hams.
Yeah, people have Easter ham. Bonnie says, my dad was Scandinavian and we ate the weirdest food. I had a dog that I would feed him under the table. I don't know, is pickled herring Scandinavian? That's up there somewhere, right? I used to eat that a lot. Right, like it would come in the jar and I'd eat it like right out of the jar. I really liked it. And it was like, nah.
Sour food.
Huh?
I
do like the sour food. I do like the sour food. But yeah, I used to eat that. I forgot about that actually. Marion says, if you've got the time, I have a great shortbread recipe. Nice. Susan says, Jell-O is kind of a 50s thing.
We will go to the Botanical Society every once in a while, and you can tell that the majority of the members are of a certain age because there's a salad table and it's all Jell-O.
Yeah, the salad table is not salad, it's Jell-O, which is kind of cool actually because you don't see that anymore really so much.
It's coming back.
It is starting to come back, I think. People are doing stuff with it.
All these people are like fascinated with, oh, this aspect. It's basically fancy Jell-O.
Yeah. Jell-O and Isn't it like meat juices?
The fat.
The fats, yeah.
Sometimes. Sometimes there's enough pectin or whatever that they're cooking down to it.
Marianne says, I do like pickled pig's feet. Susan says, my brother hated all veggies when he was a kid, except for iceberg lettuce, potatoes, corn, and green beans. In middle age, he would eat broccoli and carrots for breakfast. Nice. Yeah, I always like veggies. My mom never had a problem with that. Amanda says, love pickled herring. Marion says, Roll Mops pickled herring. Is that a brand? I don't know that. I don't know what brand I used to eat. It just whatever was at the grocery store near me in college, and I would go and pick up jars of pickled herring and eat it.
I can smell it just thinking about it.
Teresa says Jello has meat in it with the what do you call it? The hoofs, the gelatin.
Some of it, no, it doesn't.
Yeah, I think they're trying to do some of it without. I think a lot of it still does. I think Jello brand still has a lot of it. I don't know for sure.
There's a lot of candy that you can't eat if you don't like.
Gummy bears. Really, I should not be eating those. We do try to find the ones that aren't made that are vegan. Donna says the strawberry pretzel Jello. I have seen that. Strawberry cream, Jello, and pretzels.
You have to get it fresh though, because if you get it soggy, it's like
nobody wants that. Yeah, nobody wants that. Nobody wants that. Marion says aspic is the gelatin. Aspic is the gelatin can contain anything. Yeah. I've only seen it done usually with, like you said, with the juices, the meaty juices.
The tomato aspic.
Oh, I guess they have done that. I may have seen that.
That's pretty good. It's basically like a clarified ketchup.
Vanessa says, I have an old 50s or 60s Jello mold cookbook from my mother and grandmother. Never used it, but fun to look at, right? Suzanne says, I got some good New Orleans recipes for you. Let's do a cookbook, maybe. Amanda says, I love looking through vintage cookbooks. Suzanne, hot tamale flavored peeps. Hot tamale flavored peeps. They are getting wild with the peeps flavors.
They getting wild with peeps flavors with stuff. Like people are making drinks that are peeps flavored.
Yeah, and they're using the peeps in other food too.
I'm like, so basically sugar flavor.
Yeah.
Sugar and food coloring flavor.
Roll Mops is the rolled herring, often with a pickle in the middle. I didn't have that, but that sounds delicious. Harry says, we collect cookbooks, must have over 100. Nice. Bonnie says, my mom made a strawberry jello with pineapple and would put sour cream in the middle.
What is it?
Strawberry jello with pineapple and sour cream in the middle. I don't know about that. I don't know about that. I'm trying to imagine that going on in my head.
So you have to slice it so it's like...
Oh, no.
Discs.
Amanda
Is it a let's chat there, or are we going to do something?
We're going to do something. We have lots of stuff to do.
I'm just curious, because I was thinking I would maybe show them something.
I have these to show. I have these to show.
I try to clean my nails, y'all, but... I
tried. Amanda says, I have a bunch of my grandma's recipes, some clippings from newspapers. On the back of one, it lists what wives should do before their husbands get home. Nice. I've seen some of those things on Facebook on how to when your man gets home from work, how you should treat him. Crazy.
Where's my cocktail, William?
Right. Trace says, I'll send my broccoli bake recipe. It's even good cold. Nice. Cecilia says, I have a cast iron pan that my mother used over 100 years old. Nice. Amanda says, for example, make sure you brush your hair. Make sure the children have clean faces and don't complain. I know. That's crazy.
Things, right?
Amanda says, make him a drink. Andrew's like, all good things. You're gonna get whipped.
Get them pats, get the clean face.
Okay, everybody. I put on here. So today we are going to do mystery grab bags of micro-faceted gemstone strands. So we have bags. And I'm going to show you some of these of micro-faceted gemstone strands that Andrew got in Tucson. And instead of me taking each one, because some of them there's only one of, some of them there are 10 of, some of them there are 2. Instead of going through that right now and separating them all out and trying to get pictures and taking them and putting them online, we are selling them in mystery grab bags. And I think I set the price. These are already in the online store. You can grab them now at allegorygallery.com. If you go to the latest items collection, so go to the menu and go to latest items, they will be there, or scroll to the very bottom of the website homepage, and they should be there too. We're going to do them. There's going to be at least 3 strands. Normally these strands sell from anywhere from $12 to $18. Usually they're $15 to $18 a strand for our gemstone micro-faceted, for anywhere between 2 to 5 millimeter size. And normally they're about $15 to $18 in store. We're going to do 3 of them in the grab bag at least for $24. So if you want to, what's that?
Wow.
Andrew says, wow. So
sometimes that's for 1 strand.
I know. So we're going to do at least 3 in your grab bag. You don't get to pick. It's going to be a mystery. But if you like a little mystery in your life, I know some of you do, you can grab that. And so, like I said, generally the sizes you're going to get anywhere from 2 millimeter size up to about 4 to 5 millimeter size. And you'll get at least 3 strands in your grab bag for $24. Those are in the online store. Go to the latest items collection. The other thing we're going to show you today is the new Allegory Gallery Design Challenge Mix for April. So we're going to take a look at both of those. All right. So let me flip the camera around and let's take a look at some of these strands that you might get in your mystery grab bag. And
y'all want a simple project or no?
You're going to do a project too?
Maybe.
Andrew's,
if people like it.
You want to do a project with Andrew at the end of this? Let me figure out how to flip my camera now. I keep forgetting which. I think it's, nope, it's not desk view. It's this one, I think. There's my arm. There's that. Let me get, why is it so crooked? All right, up, and my camera is still mirrored. Okay, there we go. Harry says, my mother used to make a lime jello, sour cream, celery, onion, and cabbage mix. We called it puke salad behind her back. Oh boy. Amanda says, oh my goodness, I can see why you called it that. There are things that should not be anywhere near jello. Harry says she took that to every church night supper. Wow. Harry's mom used to make a lime jello, sour cream, celery, onion, and cabbage mix that the kids called puke salad behind her back.
There's a lot of recipes like that.
Susan says, we finally have a working oven, so Hubs is making me my birthday dinner. Nice. Nice. I just got an order in the online store. Somebody grabbed one of those mystery bags, I think. So thank you so much.
Yeah, before they sell out.
Before they sell out. Amanda says, my grandpa would have a tantrum if he didn't have his supper at 5 o'clock sharp. Can't do that these days.
And they're like, well, looks like you're going to be having...
Looks like you should get to the kitchen.
And this is,
okay.
Looks like some people have 2 legs.
All right. So.
That's like if you asked me, we watched this one show and the person was treating their significant other poorly. And I was like, if you ever did that, you would be flirting with the end times.
Celia got her bag. Thank you so much. So I'm just showing you all the strands in bulk that we have that you may get in your mixed bag. Marion says, excuse me, William, there are still men like that. Oh, I'm sure there are, but we know some of them. And they can go make their own food as far as they come to our house. They make their own food.
We went to this thing, and the man, he was like, get me blah, blah, blah. And I was like, Who is he talking to?
Does he not have 2 feet? Does he not have arms?
And she hopped up to do it. I says,
Mm-mm.
you cooked all day. Dude can get his own beverage.
Yeah. No.
He just sat there all day and enjoyed the
sports
TV.
The sports TV.
And at one point, they said, "Oh, Andrew, you have to come with us into the kitchen and clean the dishes." And I was like, "Do what?"
No way.
I was like, "I'm happy to do it," but I was like, "William, hop up." And they were like, "You can't have William do that." I was like, In our household, everybody contributes.
Everybody contributes. So here we have, looks like, and I don't know all, I think this is Amazonite. And we have some labradorite in here.
It's like a gunshot went off. Is that labradorite or is it that moss aqua?
I think the moss aqua is in another. I think it's in this one. I could be wrong, but you can see. Look at this stuff. Lots of good stuff. Looks like topaz in there. I think this is a.
That's zircon.
Is it zircon?
The champagne zircon.
I wasn't sure if it was a brown rutile quartz or if it was zircon. And you got some strands here that are mixed.
Mix and match.
Mix and match. So any of these may be in your mystery grab bag if you want to grab one of those. I'll put them on the homepage later and send out an email and all that good stuff. But you'll get 3 strands. Might be from that group and or from this group.
I know how it might seem like I'm trying to create a panic by saying get them before they sell out, but we get these every year and they always sell out.
Yeah, we get a lot of these and people love these, especially in the classes. When we haven't put these in the store yet, I think this is beautiful.
We always sell out the micro-faceted.
Yeah, we don't, like right now, I don't think I have any of these in the store. Any micro-faceted at all.
You got a tiger's eye.
Yeah, there's 2 tiger eye strands there.
Blue lace agate.
It looks like a little turquoise strand here. Beautiful smoky quartz here. So
some pink opal looks like.
So you can maybe get those in yours. We also have lots of nice, beautiful, beautifully clear quartz. Like these are really nice. Look how clear those are. So again, normally these are like $18 a strand in store, but we're giving you 3 strands, and I think it's $24. $24 for 3 strands in a mystery bag. So you might get those ones. And then you could also maybe get, let me find the head. There they are. You can get these. These are some of the bigger ones. So you might get
the mushroom rat.
I know. Cecilia said, I just ordered another bag. Thank you. So these are, of course, I mean, they're limited in quantity to a point. We've got a number. You've seen we got a number of those strands. We're not going to do them all into bags. So I think I put maybe 20 bags, 15 bags in the online store, figuring that'll take a good bit of them if we sell all of those. And then the rest we're going to sell individually. For a lot more money. Almost 1 strand for $24 is what it's going to be. So there you go.
Don't get surprised, y'all.
Yeah, don't get surprised when they go in the online store and the price gets higher.
To the real price.
To the actual price. And I think I did put in the description that usually these sell between $15 and $18 a strand, which is true for us.
Which is actually lower. Like some old time is 24 maybe.
Yeah, in some cases, depending on the stone too. But
who we bought it from.
Yep. So there you go. You get 3 of them in the mystery grab bag for $24, I think it is. So go to allegorygallery.com and grab those if you would like. We will be manually pulling those and putting them in your bags for you. And then,
but wait, there's more.
But wait, there's more. So it's April. Happy April, everybody. And that means we have a new design challenge mix. If you don't know what the design challenge mixes are, they are based kind of on the idea of the Allegory Gallery Design Challenge kits that we used to do. But the kits in 2023 here started to get very almost prohibitively expensive to keep doing the same kind of kits that we were doing before. So we
kits were getting like 60.
Yeah, they were 60 some dollars, 70 some dollars. It was getting wild.
Only 3 people could play along.
Yeah, so we reduced the price by making design challenge mixes. And so you get a nice large selection. This is a 2x3 bag. It comes in a bag like this. And that's just exactly what you can fit in that bag. And you get a mix of, this time, rose quartz for April. Marianne says, I guess I will skip this one. I know, it's pink, Marianne.
Maybe try it.
Get outside your comfort zone a little bit. But you do get a big, nice selection of rose quartz. This is 1 2x3 bag in this here, which is what I took a picture of for the online store. These are available in the online store right now as well. You can go to allegorygallery.com and you can go to the latest editions collection. Go to the shop tab, pull that down, go to latest editions. This and the micro-faceted mystery bags will show up there. And I think this is only $20, everybody. $20. So you get this, which is an Allegory Gallery fine pewter rope toggle in the antique gold finish. And you get the 2x3 bag of the Design Challenge mix in rose quartz. All different kinds of little rose quartz. They are all drilled, everybody. The holes are drilled. So we did this so that more people can kind of join us in our design challenges. So the design challenges, there's a group on Facebook called the Allegory Gallery Design Challenges group. And let me see if I can find that here.
I think it's one of those things where if you don't like working with paint, this is a great opportunity to dip your toe in.
June says rose quartz mix says sold out. Talk to them, Andrew. Let me go fix that.
Okay. Hello. Hi, Fred. Let's do some visualization, y'all. Picture it. Ligonier, or wherever you are, 2023. Is that the date? So this is the mix, but imagine if you mixed it with, say, green faceted pearls. Imagine how different that turns than if you mix the pink with this black. Or if you mixed it together with this. You know, or if you wanted to go there, one of my favorite color palettes with pink is to do it with brown. And one of the things when Azalea was little, there was a company called Tea, like you're going to drink some tea, and they had the cutest baby clothes. And they had this calico print that was pink and brown. And maybe a little bit more chocolatey brown, I think would look. I mean, that's a nice one, but I think we could do it even more. Do it up even more, y'all. Get some of that brown, chocolate brown. Okay, it's up. So you could have something like incorporate some pale light colors with a little bit of chocolate brown and some beige or cream or tan. So there's a lot of different ways that you can use it. Or with gray, that would be beautiful. Or those gray pearls.
Man, this carnelian looks amazing with rose quartz. Everybody, it's now online. Sorry, I forgot to change the quantity. Look at those pearls. Do you still have a pearl mix from January?
I'm into that. I'm into this. Y'all don't like that? You hate that?
Susan says it's a lovely combo, pink and black or charcoal gray. The chartreuse pearls make it pop.
This one, look, this one.
Look at that, I know. Where are those peacock pearls? Got any peacock pearls over there?
In the waiting room.
In the waiting room. So there are.
How about this?
The design challenge mix is now. Oh, there's from
if
February.
You want kind of a dreamy look, mix that with where's the other mix? The blue one. I think that one sold out. Never mind. Or crystals. Look at these sparkly, silvery crystals.
Look at those peacock pearls.
You can't have those pearls, by the way.
But you can find the peacock pearls in our online store. If you like the color, we have different varieties of them in there.
Oh, I was like, don't be selling those.
I'm not selling those, but we got lots in the online store.
That's from
the peacock color.
From me. I'm a
He
fight.
says, these are mine. What you losing there?
Beads.
Beads. Just more beads to add to the floor.
Crunchy.
I'm going to do a floor sweep
Yeah.
kit.
Correct.
Beads from the floor mystery kit.
They used to do that.
I believe it.
Floor sweeps.
I believe it.
Because they don't want to have to string them back up.
Norma says, I like rose quartz with black onyx.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or get that fiber bundle. Get that fiber bundle.
Look if you have these kind of beads.
Look at Linda.
Look at Linda.
What if you put some fibers with that? Just like an Eastery palette.
Look at this inset bone.
That'd
be really cool with it, right?
A little bit tribal,
right?
But still that black, darkened kind of ebony brown.
Yeah. So rose quartz also is good for love. It's good for helping your relationships. It's good for self-love and self-healing. It's also good for the circulatory system and the heart. So this is a great kit, I think, as we head into getting into summer here, at least in the northern hemisphere, right?
Ooh, show this one.
Ooh.
Let me get it so you can grab it.
Check those out.
Those pearlescent beads. Creamy, y'all.
So many colors can go so well. So well.
Let's see what about this. Does this go?
Does this go? Does this work? Ooh, that's even like perfect.
Isn't that weird? That's a hard color to match, y'all. That blue with that bronze.
Bronzy. Yeah, look how well that goes. It brings out that pink so nicely in those. Terry says rose quartz with larvacite. Marian says, I have good self-love already. Nice. Marian says, the gray pearls might work. I have an unfinished project with black something and rose quartz. So there you go. Vanessa says, where are those brown bone beads? In the bead room here at Allegory Gallery. We actually did sell them during a live at one point. Andrew parted with as many as he wanted to at that point in time.
I'll still sell them.
He says maybe he'll sell them again. If you want, maybe we'll put some in the online store.
We'll see. Maybe that's on a Wednesday.
He says on a Wednesday.
On Wednesday this week. Tomorrow I may be on later.
That's what I told him. I said I wasn't sure if you were going to be on at all, or if so, you'd probably definitely be later.
Because we get out at 5, so.
Vanessa says, I am interested, please.
That's $180
per strand. How many do you want?
We'll almost send the invoice.
There you go.
Genuine.
Yeah, that's inlaid bone. Inlaid bone.
That one. Is that? No, that one's not inlaid.
No?
The other one's inlaid.
Oh.
That one is, they do a dyeing process where they heat the bone and it turns that ebonized color. And they put like, it's almost like a sticker, it looks. It's like a resist.
Nice.
There you go. What about that? That minty green.
Gonna get some Easter stuff going, y'all. Easter is this weekend, right?
Yeah. Or how about
it's not gonna get to you in time for Easter, y'all. Maybe some of you, but
you live here.
What color? What are you doing? Blue?
Yeah.
Beautiful blue.
What are the Pantone?
Beautiful blue. Old
From
Pantone colors. 2020, 2021.
Nah, not 2020.
2021.
2016 maybe.
Really? That far along? I thought it was to bring peace and serenity during the pandemic.
No.
No?
That was yellow and gray.
That was just like last year, wasn't it?
No. This
I can't look at my phone, y'all.
Last year, there was greenery.
I thought last year was yellow and gray. Or yellow.
That
was
yellow and gray. 2020.
Pink and olive, Lena says. I don't know. I can't look it up. I'm on my phone. But I thought it was much earlier, much more recent. 2016.
When Caitlyn Jenner came out.
I don't know. I don't remember being that far.
I know.
Anyway.
It seemed like yesterday. Y'all want to do a project? Or
Amanda says last year was periwinkle.
Uh-huh.
That was 2022. Periwinkle.
And this is Viva Magenta.
This is Viva Magenta.
And there was a greenery in there.
I don't know. I'm going to look this up because I want to know. Okay. No, I'm done. You want to do a project?
Sure.
Andrew's going to do a project. Unless you all are done. Andrew has this idea of maybe doing a little project on some of our lives at the end. Instead of just one project a week, you'll get multiples maybe.
Just to keep things fresh.
Keep things fresh. So fresh and so clean.
Unless y'all don't want it, you hate it.
Y'all hate it? You hate that idea?
Then I'll just not.
If you like it, we have 9 likes so far. So if you like it, hit the thumbs up and the like button to let us know. If you don't like it, then it won't move from 9. Then we'll know. Then we'll just know. No one wants to see it.
Then I'll just go.
There's 10.
Get some.
We got up to 10.
Some mushrooms.
Okay, there's 11. Looks like people want a demo. 12.
That's only 3 people. That's not that many.
That's 1%. No,
1%.
A tenth of a percent.
A tenth of a percent.
10%.
You're really selling it, William.
It's 10%. There's 30 people watching. 10% of them want to see it.
All right, let me get them fired, girl. You think that we literally have a box of fire that's overflowing, and this stuff goes missing still. I don't know how it happens.
You gonna work with this new wonderful little kit?
Nah. I'm
Show
gonna do my own way.
Show them what they can do when they buy it today.
Nah, you can do that by yourself. We'll do that creative make-along time.
By the way, the creative make-along is April 21st, y'all. Friday, April 21st from 6 to 9 p.m. It is in the description of the video or in the description of the product listing. And I will put it on the events page. Calendar of events page.
All right. So for today's project, we're going to be using this AG Fine Pewter toggle. This one is a running horse or jumping horse, and it comes with this link. Now, don't confuse this with a bead. We have a running horse bead, and it looks exactly the same, except it doesn't have the toggle, and it doesn't come with the matching loop. Now, the matching loop is one of those ones that you have to have that right size, otherwise it can fall through. So, and if you didn't see, we did a spring cleaning sale, and so was it last week and the week before, something like that. And one of the lots that we had were these dyed howlite chips, which are kind of like a faux turquoise looking thing. And I was kind of like, I don't really know if I'm into it or not. And so we have a lot of these. And if you got some, thank you. If you didn't get some, we probably still have a bag or 2 left of just these strands. So my idea was for this project, we do a simple stringing project, super quick, super fast, and it would incorporate these chips. So it's kind of like I'm going to force myself to love them. All right. And then I got some pewties. Do we have beauties in the online store?
Yes, we do.
All right. So I don't know if we have this particular brand or this particular kind, but I thought I would use these anyways because they're smaller. I don't want too big because I don't want them to eclipse the the chip beads. So these are smaller. I was going to use some metal seed beads. I love those and I use them all the time in my design, but I decided to hoard those and use these pewdies instead. Um, yeah, and it's always also nice to see what you can do with some of the materials that you can find at allegorygallery.com. All right, so then I've got some crimp tubes and I have some flexible beading wire. This is a fun kind of turquoisey color. When I'm doing a piece like this, I generally work off the spool. If I'm working on multiple projects at once, I don't. Um, but for this kind of project, I just work off the spool because I don't like to cut a bunch of lengths of wire and then I end up having to, throw them away if they're too short or so this way I know exactly how much I need. And if I need more, I can pull off more. If I need less, I can just use less. So yeah, so this is for today's tools. I've got some chain nose pliers, I've got some cutters, and I've got some crimping pliers. And in theory, I have round nose pliers somewhere. But yeah, all right. So I'm just gonna cut this real quick and hope that doesn't flick in my face. And then pour some of these out. If I need more, I can get more later. And then I'm gonna start stringing. I'm just gonna alternate between one silver colored pewty and one chip bead. Now, if you ever have a problem where the pewty hole is a little small, or if you want it to be larger, you can always take your round nose pliers and insert the tip inside of the opening, and then you can use that to, you just gently twist it and it will expand the hole. So if you have a too small hole, that's one little tip that you can use so that you can string things up easier. Or if you need to do something like a multi-strand where you have many strands going through, sometimes beads, they don't want to accommodate multiple strands. So that's a nice way that you can open them up. And so I'm just stringing, alternating one at a time. And yeah. And so this is a really fun one. These pewdies have a texture on them. So I like them. They just kind of add a little bit of texture. And they kind of, I think they complement that. It almost has a Southwestern vibe to it, which I'm into. Some people aren't into Southwestern, but I think it's fun. And the nice thing about this is that if you wanted to turn this into a multi-strand, you could easily do that. Multi-strands have a little bit more visual impact. So if you're into that, definitely do that. Now, if you have a strand of chips, sometimes the chips are not always created equally. Sometimes they're nicked up or the holes are wonkadoodle. Um, Generally speaking, there's enough beads on the strand that if I have a couple chipped ones or there's just something up with them that's not tickling my fancy, I can skip them and just put them off to the side. If you do have those, there's a lot of things you can do with broken beads. One thing you can do is a project that I listed in my Patreon where you use epoxy sculpt to hide any chips and create a decorative kind of bead cap. It's a project that I did for one of the TV shows that I was on. I can't remember which was. But that's a great way so that you don't go to any waste. Another thing that you can use is you can use these broken chip for inlay. So if you have a really nice strand and you're like, oh, I hate that some of these are broken, fear not, you can still put them to use. So you can mix a little bit of resin and grind up and pulverize the broken pieces and mix that in with your resin and then put that in a pendant or what have you and remove the top layer, and it looks really cool. It almost looks like a mosaic. And that's an inlay technique that they use a lot with like Native American jewelry. So I think that there's a lot of opportunities. Sometimes people get kind of bored with chip, and I can understand that. But I think it's nice, you know, there's sometimes, for one, usually they're more inexpensive than a fancy faceted stone because every time you pick up a bead, it adds to the expense of it. So I think somebody once told me every time you pick up a bead, it adds 10 cents to the price. Um, and if you think about how often different beads are manipulated before they're ready to be sold, that, you know, it adds up quite significantly. So, yeah. Carla says, I've been watching on TV. I just added my like. I would also like some strawberry jello pretzel salad. I might make do with a strawberry outshine bar. I don't know what that is. What is an outshine bar? Yeah. So here we go. I've been stringing this up, and what I'm going to do is when I get close enough, I'm going to test this and make it go around my wrist and see if I have to add more. Now keep in mind the toggle is going to keep a little bit to it. So what I generally do is I measure it pretty close to the end. And then whenever I have to add my toggle, that will add a little bit of looseness to the piece and accommodate it so that you can take it on and off. Now, one of the tricky parts of that is that if it's too big, it could easily fall off. If it's too small, well, then it's too small, it won't fit. So it's one of those things where you have to get it just right. So I think that's a fun thing. All right. So I'm just stringing. And I was blacksmithing earlier today in the Elizabeth Brim class at the Center for Metal Arts. And yeah, so my nails are filthy. All right. So this is going to be a relatively easy and simple project. If we do decide to do tutorial, like little demo things every day or whenever, more frequently than we already do, then yeah. I lost my train of thought. I was trying to count. What was I saying, William?
You're saying it's a shorter one, I think. So if we do them every day.
Oh, yeah. So if we do them every day, they're not going to be like long, epic, you know, the Epic of Gilgamesh style. All right. So I'm going to test that. And that's just right. All right. So now comes the crimping part. And I know somebody was talking about having issues with crimping. And so I'm going to go and I'm going to walk you through it real quick and real easy. And yeah. So I'm going to actually leave a couple of these out, and you'll see why. I'm actually going to take a couple of these beads off, and I'm going to string up maybe three of them. And here you go, maybe 3. All right. And then what I do is one thing that I need to stress for y'all is buy the best crimp tubes that you can afford and get a solid metal. If you get a plated base metal crimp tube, it is something that it's not a question of if it'll break, it's a question of when it will break. It's just a softer metal, and after you wear it and there's wear and tear, it just is a natural thing that's going to happen. So, you can use base metal beads for a lot of things. And generally speaking, I'm not going to be snobbish about material choices, but things like crimp tubes is not where to say, it's not where to skimp. So, sterling silver, gold filled copper, plated sterling silvers and plated coppers and things like that. You can, as long as the core is a solid metal that's sterling silver, copper, gold filled, then you're good. If it's a base metal, like I said, it's just a weaker metal and it'll eventually break. So I strung up one crimp tube, and I'm going to string up one of these pewties. And the reason why I'm doing this is because it takes less pressure, or it takes pressure off of the point of connection in between the crimp tube and the toggle or whatever you're attaching it to. The reason why that's important is because at this point of connection, where if you just have this, that can rub back and forth, back and forth. And if you didn't do it right, sometimes there's micro cuts inside of the crimp tube, and they work against each other. And it's just like a pop tab. You bend it back and forth enough times, it's going to break. So, so there's little things that you can do, like having a buffer bead in between that, and that'll help. So I'm going to string one crimp tube, one buffer bead, and then pass this through the end of one of the halves of the toggle. All right, I'm going to bend this over. I bent this over approximately half an inch, and I'm going to slide that buffer bead up, and I'm also going to slide up that crimp tube. All right. Now, if you do have a buffer bead, I prefer a material that's not going to break. Sometimes you can get away with glass, but if you squeeze too hard and you're not paying attention, or your plier slips, you can easily smash it and crush it, and that's not a happy feeling. So, here you go. I string this up. I put this. Now, here's another thing. With crimping, if you grab somebody's arm and you hold them like this, you may be able to hold them for like a second or two. But the thing is, they'll be able to wiggle their arm out of your grip. If you grab somebody like this and you push, 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 push in between your palms, they can easily wiggle their arm out. Especially if they're sweaty and greasy, they can swiggle right out. But if you hold them like this, if you go and you grab them tight like that, it's less likely that they can come out. So that's why I recommend using crimping pliers. Crimping pliers, some people say you just need to squeeze the crimp tube and that's it. If you have tornado crimps, then that is what's recommended for that product. And you can do that. But if you don't have those tornado crimps, because they're not that readily available, at least not that I've found. You should use these crimping pliers. Now, there's two little divots in the crimping pliers, the tip of the crimping pliers. There's the one closest to your hand, and then there's the one closest to your tip. The one closest to your hand is the one that makes the taco. The one closest to your tip closes the taco up. Now, you're going to want your flexible beading wire to be parallel to one another. And if you want it to be extra fancy, you could put French wire. It's basically a small coil of wire that covers wire, and that's supposed to reduce friction. This wire is coated, it's braided steel with a nylon coating. So in my mind, that nylon coating is kind of one of that resist, so that if it rubs back and forth, it's not going to damage the wire underneath as much, unless you're like super aggressive, I guess. But so also it comes as a color, and this is one of the places that you can see that little pop of color. So I like to have it be visible. I know some people don't like it, and if you don't like it, if you're like, I absolutely hate it, you can always cover that in seed beads or some metal seed beads, and pass that through the toggle. One thing you should be mindful of is that not all seed beads will fit through all toggle openings. So you have to pick one that's going to have a big enough hole on the toggle so that you can, so that if you pass through one of the ends that's been beaded, it'll fit through. Otherwise, it's not going to fit, and then it kind of defeats the purpose, unless you're going for an aesthetic thing, and then you can do that. But it's not actually going to have that double sense of protection. All right, so I'm going to use the divot closest to my hand first. I'm going to make sure that my flexible beading wire is parallel to one another, and that they're not crossing. And then I'm going to gently squeeze. And if it's a longer, like if it's a 2x3 millimeter crimp tube, what I would do is start here and then work my way up. And then that way these are separated and they stay in kind of their side of the bed. All right, we're going to turn our crimp tube on the side right here like this. And then we're going to use the notch closest to the tip, and we're going to gently squeeze that. Now, if you want that to be super rounded, I recommend kind of twirling this around a little bit inside that tip that's closest to the hand. You don't want to do it too much because you're work hardening it, which if you use a nice quality crimp tube, it's not a huge problem. But if you do that a lot, it'll come loose. So just, use your own common sense. Now I've got my cutters here, and I'm going to sidle this cutter up so that it's in between, so that you don't cut the main one, but you're going to cut the shorty. And what I like to do is I like to hold it while I cut it, and then that way it doesn't flick in my eye and then make for the blood time, because nobody's got time for the blood time. All right, so I trim this, and I'm ready to do the other side. Now, you might be asking yourself, wait a second. What? I don't know. So I've got this here like this, and I'm stringing this up, and here we go. So I'm going to measure it again just to make sure. Oh, and the reason why I cut the tail off, that's a good reminder, is sometimes you can leave it long and tuck it under there. The reason why people did that originally is because from when the crimp tube would fail, they would have extra wire so that they could replace the crimp tube. So if you're planning to have your crimp wire come loose and you're planning to have it fall apart, and you don't want to restring, then you can cut this flush and it's not going to be a problem. I've had pieces that I made, oh goodness, 20 years ago, and were made for trade show samples where people are taking them on and off and they're getting flung in boxes and rattled around and all kinds of stuff. And those necklaces, their toggles are still fine and they haven't come loose and they haven't broken. So I think it's a good thing, a good practice to do. Also, this, if you leave a tail in here and it's shoved under there, number one, some of your beads are not going to accommodate that second strand. Number two, if it pokes out, if you maneuver in such a way that the wire ends up poking out, it can stick you in the back of the neck or it can stick you in your arm. And that's less than ideal, right? You don't want to end up making it so that your work is hard to wear. All right, so don't do that if you can. So I'm just going to measure it one time again. I may end up having to take some off, but that's okay if I do. Now, when I'm closing things off, you'll notice that I give myself a generous portion to work with. So this is, 2 inches, 2.5 inches, 3 inches. And I like to have a little extra room so that when I'm working, I'm not working with a little stub that's hard to manipulate. I'm actually working with a healthy amount that I can then pass through beads and do different things, and it's not going to be a nightmare. Because sometimes when you're doing that, it can be really, really, really hard. All right, so I've got all this strung up. I'm going to snip this wire, this flexible beading wire. And I like to do it at an angle just so that the end of your wire is kind of like a needle. And I'm going to take this one off and I'm going to add 3 of these pewdies. 1, 2, 3. And then I'm going to get another one of those crimp tubes and I'm going to use this. All right. So I strung up, that's 4. 3 of these pewdies. I'm going to string up 1 of this crimp tube, and then I'm going to string up another of the pewdies onto the end here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to find the other half of my toggle clasp. I'm going to pass it through the button shank, and then I'm going to pass this back through the spacer bead that we just put on, and then I'm going to string this crimp tube. And then where those pliers come in handy is I like to take these and gently pull this. I don't like to pull too tight because if you pull it too tight, you're basically making a bookmark. So I do what's called a flexibility test. And I'll wrap this around my fingers. And if it's comfortable like that, where the kind of the drape is tight, if it wraps around and it's not, or if the curvature is tight and you wrap it around, then there's a stronger probability that the piece will break. So if you do this and you wrap this around and it's really pulled tight and stiff, you're going to go to wrap that small coil and the whole thing's going to pop and get broken. So this is kind of a little trick and a little tip so that you can get the most out of your piece. All right. And then, so I'm going to get my chainless pliers again, or my crimping pliers. And I'm going to find my crimp tube, use the notch closest to my hand, and then use the notch closest to the tip and squeeze it shut. Easy peasy. And I'm going to trim that wire. And if I wanted to, I could dress this piece up by covering the crimp tubes with a crimp cover. But since I did, I think, a nice job crimping the crimp tubes, it doesn't look like it needs it. Now, one of the reasons why I gave myself a little extra on the side of this is that this is going into this. And if you have big beads that butt up right against this bracelet, then you won't be able to move the horse and enable it to jump through the ring. So you have to do this kind of motion so that it'll easily fit in there and it will bend. Because if it's too big right up against it, it won't bend. And then you'll also not be able to do anything with it besides look at it. All right, easy peasy. All right, William, you want to come back? You want to come back and say bye to everybody? And if you wanted to, you could add little frills here. You could make this into a multi-strand. If you do make this into a multi-strand, I would suggest making this a little bit shorter and putting a jump ring, and then have that jump ring be the point of connection where you have the multi-strands connect. And then I think that looks pretty cute. That little horse and those beauties. It's a very simple and basic design. Like you don't really have to think about things too hard unless you're me, and then you overthink them. But yeah, so easy peasy. All right, I'm gonna switch to William.
All right, everybody, we're just switching to say goodbye, I think. Let me flip the camera around here.
Maybe I'll do a tour tomorrow at some point of Center for Metal Arts if they let me.
Yeah, that'd be nice. All right, so today we talked about a lot. We did a lot of catching up with y'all. It's been a while, a weekend, but
came up with an idea for a recipe book.
Gonna maybe make a cookbook, but we released
Allegory Eats.
Right, there you go. Ooh. So we released our Design Challenge Mix for April, which is Rose Quartz. The Design Challenge Mix Creative Make-Along date on Zoom, if you'd like to join us, is April 21st. You don't have to remember that because there's a calendar of events page on our website, and all you have to do is go there. The link's there to get into the Zoom. The dates are all there, so you can always go to that page for hopefully as long as I remember to put it there, all the information, all the dates, whether it's our book club, whether it's the creative make-alongs, whether it's in-store classes, anything we do online that has a specific date to it, it'll be in there for y'all. So you can check that out. We also did the micro-faceted 2mm to 5mm gemstone strands. We're doing some mystery grab bags that you can grab. You'll get at least 3 of those strands for $24. Normally they're $15 to $24 a piece in store. So it's a good deal for y'all. I think that's it. I'm going to get everything online. I'm going to be sharing all the posts in case you missed anything. You can also watch a rewatch of this. But we'll be back here at some point, probably later tomorrow, later than our normal 5:30 time, because Andrew has to drive home from Johnstown and then get something set up to show y'all tomorrow for our Tuesday tutorial. So stay tuned for that.
You didn't talk about my bracelet that I just finished.
Well, you just finished it. I don't need to talk about it. They just watched it. It's right there.
Do y'all like it?
Everybody's asking where they can get the chips now.
You can that's a SC something.
That's an SC something. All right. Okay. That's all.
Just send us an email.
Send an email if you want the chips, I guess. Andrew has them, maybe.
I have a bunch.
He has a bunch of them. And I think that's it. I'm sorry, everybody. My mind, I didn't expect to come back. My mind is in computer mode. I'm sharing stuff and posting stuff and making blog posts and everything. So yeah, see, he has a whole bag of those chips. So if you want those chips, send us an email. All right. Thank you again.
Oh, that clasp. You know where to find it.
The clasp in the online store. Horse toggle. You can find it. Just look horse. It'll come up. And I think that's it. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. Again, Andrew will be a little bit late tomorrow. He's going to try and give you a tour of Center for Metal Arts tomorrow if they allow him to do that during the day sometime. So keep an eye out. He'll probably, are you doing that on Facebook and YouTube, or are you just going to go live on Facebook or something? And just StreamYard?
Just Facebook.
Okay, so you have to be on Facebook to see that one.
And if you check my stories today, when I get home, I'm going to post highlights from today's workshop.
Your personal or Andrew Thornton Artist?
Personal.
His personal Facebook page.
No. My Instagram, Andrew Thornton Artist.
Andrew Thornton Artist, not his personal. All right, so you can check that out for some of the things he's done today.
No, nobody knows my personal hardly.
So that's it, and we will see you. Andrew will see you back here tomorrow. I'll be at my other job, and then I'll be back on Wednesday with something else for you. All right.
Are you filming tomorrow?
Yes, we are filming with Jen tomorrow.
So I'm not going to be here. I have to go to the house.
Yeah, you'll be doing it from the house. All right, everybody. Thank you so very much. Thanks for hanging out. It was good to chat. We chatted for like an hour or something, which was nice to catch up. So thank you all. Have a wonderful, wonderful evening, morning, afternoon, whatever it is, wherever you are. Have a great one. Bye, everybody.
See ya.